Hello, guys. Welcome back to another podcast. Happy Thursday, everybody. Hope everyone's August has been going well. Today's topic, episode 5, we're going to be talking about phones taking over the world. I think this one's a really big topic because I think we noticed this generation, a lot of electronics, a lot of phones going on, bruh. We're going to be talking about that, but before we get started and ramble, that this is going to be a short podcast. It's not going to be very long. It's not going to be like a really long talk or anything. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy this podcast. Like and subscribe for more podcasts. But let's get started. Okay, so start with the first one. What makes phones addicting? I think there are many ways we can be answering this. When it comes to technology, this is gonna ramble about, or this kind of has to do with technology as well. We're gonna start with texting is the first category. This also has to do with anything because the reason why texting is, I'd say texting is the number one option. I think it pretty much is because everywhere you're out in public, when you see people on phones, they're always texting their friends, their parents or whatever. I mean, I know texting is very important. I mean, I can't take that away. I think we can't deny that texting and calling is the most important stuff when it comes to phones, but there is to a point where it can become very addicting, and I think we don't get the realization that phones really damage our brains, and we got to limit it at some point. Calling is a big one too. Because if you notice, right, teens love calling their friends and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with calling your friends when you're feeling down or feeling bored, but we have to set some boundaries and stuff. But back in the day, texting wasn't really a thing. And with calling, if you wanted to call one of your friends, you'd use like those old phones, the telegrams. I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure. The ones where you have that old phone and you just call through there. You don't have a cell phone to call. Video games. You may be confused what I mean by video games. What I mean is mobile games is what is something addicting. Like Clash of Clans. There's like Roblox. There's Dragon Legends. There's many mobile games that are very popular, but I don't really game on my phone, so honestly I can't really speak too much about it. I do remember some iPad games. I liked Castle Raid. That was my favorite game. But I feel like texting and calling is the most addicting. Video games is every third. Fourth is social media. I think I did a podcast about social media, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm going to talk about these two, but let's just switch notifications to 5th and AI with 6th. Notifications is another reason why phones can become addicting. I think this is the same thing that goes for social media as well. But let me just explain in a sec. The reason why notifications is very, I wouldn't say it's number one on why phones are addicting. When you hear a beep on this thing, you assume that there's a notification on here. And you think that your friends are texting you. You think that you keep thinking, our brains keep thinking that someone's texting us, someone's calling us. I know responding to texts is very important, but if you're someone that gets overly stimulated from notifications, I just say honestly just shut it off. It's honestly just not worth draining your energy. And, if you want to improve your health or, like I always mention that, like I say, phones, you're allowed to use your phone, but there's to a certain point where we can't be on it 24/7 just scrolling and texting and calling our friends unless it's something important. I think, and then the next one is, before I move on to the AI one, I think what I've noticed is work as well. When you have Gmail and stuff, or you have your emails on your phone, I think sometimes from work on your day off, you want to always check if there's anything important, or say they called you in last minute to cover someone's shift, which I can understand that. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think we all get that. I think that is why. But the most important one is AI. I think the reason why in this generation why phones are so addicting these days is because AI. And we know how powerful AI is. Those of you who watch Toy Story 5, that what I learned from it is that you can't really stop electronics. Everything's electronics these days. It's not old school anymore. But there's nothing you can do about it. And that's just how the world is right now. I mean, this doesn't happen just in the Bay Area. This happens, all over the United States. Pretty sure New York has that same energy and stuff. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Vision. Phones can affect our eyes to a point where we need glasses. It makes us blink harder. Our eyes are squinting and loss of vision. I mean, this is very true. I mean, I needed to get glasses in my sophomore year because, to a point where your eyes just start acting up. And those of you who don't know what squinting is like this. You lean in to read something and obviously like you don't understand what it says. So you try your best to read and see what it says. But I get it that, this is why we have to limit it sometimes. What I do is when my eyes start blinking really hard like this, or like my vision or my eyes or vision start like acting blurry, like I'll start putting on my glasses. I mean, I don't really use it. I use it sometimes. I wouldn't say like I use it like all the time. I use it mostly in school. But yeah, that's the point of vision. What do we do? I think I just explained it. Limiting it / setting boundaries, getting active, reading or coloring. Okay, let's explain. So if someone was willing to ask me, how do I set a boundary, or what should I do if I keep blinking hard? Well, first off, you gotta set limits and boundaries. Say you cut it. Oh my god. Sorry. We're on this one right now. What I'd say is to not scroll. I think that is one, and go on social media so much. I think that is one valid point. But I mean, everyone's different. Everyone sets a different boundary. Say you only went for 4 hours. You only do 4 hours on your phone, and then let's say you go outside and go for a run, and then getting active, obviously that's the second step, and then reading or coloring is just something like reading. I don't know, like something that just doesn't involve electronics. But I don't know, dude. I don't really have much to really say about this because these are just more like how to limit it and stuff. I mean, it's not like 100% accurate, obviously, so when is it necessary to use your phone? We're going to explain this one right now. Emergencies, navigation, checking for emails for work, like I said. Research, checking or calling for text if necessary. Let's just explain one. Emergencies. Okay. You're going to need your phone at all times for this. So let's take an example. If you and your friend are lost in the forest and no one is reaching out, or you don't know your way back, you have 911. Or if you want to make it more realistic, because obviously in the forest you don't have service. Let's say you and your friends were driving or hanging out, and then when one of your friends' cars break down, you'd have to call 911. Or if one of your friends passed out or isn't breathing, they're acting up, that's an emergency. Navigation, I'm pretty sure most of us, everyone in this world uses phones for navigation, which is okay with me and in general, because back then we used to use paper maps and we knew how difficult it was. But Waze, Apple Maps, Google Maps is our sources when it comes to navigation. And I think out of all these, I think navigation is the most necessary. Navigation and emergencies, definitely the most important ones. And I think is the most valid ones out of all. Checking for emails for work. Obviously, I'm not going to explain this one because I already did. Research. So if you don't know something, obviously there's Yelp, there's Instagram for your research. That's okay. It's good to use your phone for answers and stuff if you don't know anything. I'm pretty sure we all do that, right? If we don't know, say if I'm going to a rave, right, and I don't know what time it starts, then I can use Instagram to check, or just to double check your research is to double check something. That is totally okay. And then calling or texting is like, if it's very important, then yeah. How it's affecting our lives, I think family time isn't as spent anymore. And even at dinner, everyone is on their phones. It's a distraction, AI. I mean, I'm going to tell you all something on this one. We're going to break this down that let's take it as a relationship or connections in general. What the phone does is it distracts our brains to the point where like we don't want to like talk to anyone. We just want to be on our phones, like just doing whatever and stuff, which is okay. But you know, if you're really sad and then like, let's say your friends offered you to go get dinner with them. They're like, hey, I notice you're not feeling well. Do you want to go get dinner with me? And blah, blah, blah. Like you can't just be like, oh, I just want to be on my phone. Like, I don't think, like, it's okay to go outside. Going outside actually actually helps with mental health. So honestly, what it does, it really brings down a lot of ships, like a lot of connections with people that most of them just want to just stare at a screen all day, 24/7. They don't want to like go outside. They don't want to hang out with friends. Hang out with friends, what I like is when I hang out with my friends, it feels like the 70s and the 80s when you would go to like a burger diner or whatever. Like I miss those days. I mean, I wasn't born in the 70s, but like I just still I just know what it's like, or I knew what happened during those times. But I'm just so happy that Instagram's like reminding us of that. But I'm not going to explain the AI stuff. So let's move on to the next topic. Life before phones. I am wanting to explain. I want to explain this on what good times were. Like life. Let's explain. Going outside till dark to bike, scooter, or play sports. Shopping at the mall for hours. Going to events without using a phone recorder. Okay, let's explain all three. Let's start from the bottom. Going to events without using a phone recorder. Basically, if you went to a concert, you wouldn't have a phone just flashing like this. You wouldn't just have your phone out ready to like record and stuff. So honestly, dude, like I just remember those times, dude. Yeah, but honestly, dude, like that I didn't know that you didn't need a phone when it came down to that. You didn't even need a flip phone with that, not even a BlackBerry phone. You just enjoyed the time. Take it as a spark, as a memory. But what it happened back then in the good old days was you went to any event you went to, you didn't need a phone for memory. It was up in the brain. But nowadays, you need your phone to record everything and, you know, enjoy yourself. But, you know, I don't know. I blame AI for phones becoming addicting. Because I'll be honest, I feel like phones weren't as addicting in like 2024, 2025. But I think this year it became way more addicting, dude. But shopping, you were able to go to places in public without like even needing your phone. Like, dude, all you did was chat with each other, laugh all day, like Don Tolliver was once said, which is true. I just miss those days, dude. I remember when I used to go to like Chuck E. Cheese or, you know, malls and stuff, dude. Oh my God, the good old times, dude. And then last but not least, going outside. Oh my God, those two my OGs, dude. If y'all know, you know. Going outside, you didn't even need a watch, bruh. You didn't even need a watch. You basically were out there. Like, if you were out there from 4 to like 9 or 10, dude, I remember coming home at like 9:30, maybe even like 10, dude. Oh man, I just want to experience that as a kid again, bro. I just want to experience those good old times, dude. Even playing basketball was even memorable as well, dude. How phones affected connections. I think we explained this one. Addiction, the eyes are basically what I'm just gonna keep it short and simple. That people would rather stare at this instead of talking to people one-on-one in person, or rather hanging out. I mean, I'm not like saying that for like in general, but I feel like sometimes in certain situations or certain times people just want to be on their phones. They're like they don't even want to like hang out, which okay. Conclusion. Phones can be resourceful, but it can be addicting. It can affect us in many ways. Social media, AI can also take over the world. I think more like, I mean, obviously we know that, phones has like AI built in it. So I mean, the fact that with AI being so powerful, it just makes phones more and more addicting. But I don't know. The end. So what this podcast has really taught us, or what the lesson of the day, is that phones have a role. That there are some times you're gonna need it, and then there's just sometimes it could become very, 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 very addicting. Like video games, right? You get into a video game, right? You love the game to the point where you get addicted to it. Right? I was like that when I used to play Fortnite, dude. Back in like 7th or 8th grade, I used to play a lot of Fortnite, and I was like so addicted to it that I got like C's in my classes, that I quit video games because of that reason, because my grades were so bad. But I don't know. But phones just have been so addicting this year. But at the same time, it's good that there's a lot of resources in it. So it's more like the lesson before I end this podcast. What the lesson or the key is to that it's okay to be on your phone, but to limit it. When your eyes are blinking or your vision's getting messed up, that's when you should cut it down and, tell yourself that you are being on your phone too much and that you should go outside. What I do is I play basketball. I'll go like around like 6 o'clock. I always like play basketball and stuff, or I'll like go on my mile runs. That way I get active. Like that's why I'm pretty skinny, but everyone's different. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this podcast. I know it was like very short, but I try to reach for a 30-minute podcast, but it just honestly just depends on like the topic. But I will see you guys in the next podcast. There's going to be none next week because I'm going to be on vacation, but when I return, I will record another podcast for you guys. But I hope you guys have an amazing weekend and you guys enjoyed this episode. I will see you guys in the next podcast. But anyways, peace out, everyone. Bye.